Hello, here we are, October 23rd, 2016, the Facebook Live concerning the book number 6, On a Cold Wind. Lovely beverage. Okay, give me just 1 second. There's one thing that I forgot to do, one other thing I need to pull up, and then we will get going. Because I don't have all the book information memorized. Well, the book information about the book I have, it's just a few things I don't. So bear with me for one more quick moment. I'm a little unorganized because I had to work yesterday. Normally I would have been off. I'm off every other weekend, but I had to go in yesterday to make up some time. So I was not able to get my notes together. So I'm trying to get everything done today. Okay. As I said, this is going to be on book number 6, On a Cold Wind. And to quote River Song, spoilers, just so you know. And okay. So, On a Cold Wind. The story of Carly Adrastia, an agent of EarthGov security in the late 22nd century, begins. As an enhanced human, a group of humans engineered to have superior physical and mental abilities, she is subject to hatred and discrimination while continuing to work for the improvement of her people's situation. Along with her partner, Special Agent Murphy Greenfield, she is assigned to track down 2 escaped criminals who threaten a newly established colony. One of the criminals, Ephraim Bartok, is also an enhanced human who wants to incite a revolution and lead the enhanced humans to freedom. There is a link between Carly and Bartok, one that only Carly's division director knows. This book is actually This book actually asks the burning question: how do you have a complete novel and not do anything with it? Carly and her partner Murphy are some of the oldest characters that I have. Not their physical ages in the story, but in terms of when I created them. I was when I was in college in the 80s, after reading Heinlein's Friday, I started thinking about artificially created humans and what their story might be like. In the original story, Carly and Murphy were tasked with stopping an invasion by an unknown alien race. There is still a hint of that in the story as it exists now. There is a mysterious stranger who contacts Bartok a couple of times during the story. He represents those aliens. Now, as I said, I was inspired by Heinlein's Friday. Heinlein was my favorite author, and of all his novels, Friday is my favorite. And I have, in my general writing, been influenced a lot by Heinlein's work. Just simple fact, writing in plain English, and trying not to use a lot of technical terms and jargon. But while Friday is my favorite Heinlein novel, there's a couple things that I disagreed with him on. During the novel, Friday refers to herself and others like her as artificial people. And I started thinking that if I was one of them, I wouldn't like being called artificial. I mean, I'm perfectly human, emphasis on perfect, who just happens to be genetically engineered to be superior in almost every way. I'm not artificial. You know, the old line, prick me, do I not bleed? And in my fictional universe, I made enhanced humans the quote unquote hate group du jour. By 2189, when the story takes place, humanity has learned to not hate large portions of itself because of ethnicity, skin color, religion, sexual orientation. They hate enhanced humans. Not all of them. It's a relatively small part of the population that actually hates enhanced humans. But I figured in my future, the word artificial, at least when applied to enhanced humans, is an insult. They refer to themselves. You can refer to them as being as you could say that they're enhanced, or you can refer to them the same way as they refer to themselves. They refer to themselves as our sort, my sort, your sort, their sort, things like that. Excuse me. Uh, when applied to enhanced humans, artificial and the shorter version of it, arty, is an insult. Another point I disagreed with Heinlein on is that in his future, at least the future when Friday takes place, there's nothing that would make the enhanced humans stand out from the rest of the population. I mean, if you looked at any artificial person in Friday's world, they look just like everybody else. There's no way to make them stand out. Someone would have to go out of their way to make themselves stand out, display enhanced abilities, strength, speed, whatever, and that would mark them as an artificial person. This is actually a main story point of Friday, and the key to the only part of that story that I don't like. I did not really agree with this because my feeling, knowing people, is that they would probably find some way to make the enhanced humans stand out. I toyed a little bit with maybe tattoos, but then I thought, nah, I want something a little bit more insidious. So I created a substance called beryllium. Within the context of the story, it's a low grade man made radioactive substance that's mostly used in short range marker beacons. It's also embedded into the bones of the right hand of enhanced humans, which then leads to uh, almost a greeting mantra, call it what you will, between enhanced humans. They generally put their right hand closed into a fist over their heart and say something along the lines of, I am what I am, I can be, I can do, I can dream. That using scanners built into building security systems, you can have it set to go off, either a very loud alarm or a silent alarm. And doing that, you can keep an enhanced human out of your building. Approximately 2/3 of the buildings on Earth have these scanners. So, while I don't usually try to put any kind of real message or moral into the stories, any story with enhanced humans in it is going to say a little something about uh, bigotry and discrimination. I try not to be too in your face about it, but with the character of Wegman in um, On a Cold One, it's kind of obvious and in your face about it. Discussing the various kinds of enhanced humans. There are different grades. There are different designs: light industrial, heavy industrial, general purpose. There's also one that shows up in On a Cold Wind called a combat enhanced. It's an enhanced soldier, colloquially known as a combat design. They're essentially a half step up from your standard quote unquote enhanced human. They are a bit stronger, a bit faster because they're soldiers. They're designed to be quote unquote perfect soldiers. One character in here who Carly calls Bob because he kind of reminds her of her batch brother, is actually going to be a trailblazer, and he will show up in a future story. I just don't know exactly when, where, or how. And there are a few other characters also who make quote unquote guest appearances in On a Cold Wind who turn up later in their own stories. Special Agent Alexandra Sinclair has her own story, Wanderer, which is also a completed story, which I have not done anything with. God alone knows why, but I'm working on it now. I have to do some redressing to the beginning and ending, and I am working now on getting that complete. Special Agent Harmony Moore and her identical twin sister Melody have their own story, which is titled In Dino Image, and I really do have to get back to that. Carly and the twins do make an appearance in Wanderer, as does Colonial Affairs Field Supervisor Teresa Frankel. Now, anybody who's read Ray will remember that Alexandra, in her future role as director of Division 5, makes mention of her wife, Terry. Terry is Teresa. And this is where they meet. So, sorry, as I said, spoilers. I don't usually plan sequels. Usually, after the first story, I'll finish it, move along, and then if something else comes up, excuse me. Then, if I come up with a good enough story for a sequel, then I'll write a sequel. With On a Cold Wind, when I had originally created the story, I had 4 novels planned. I've kind of pared that down to 3 stories. I just have to finish a number of other projects before I get to this one. See, there's Wanderer, Stranger, My Soul to Keep, Upon a Far Distant Shore, which is going to be a while. I'm 75,000 words into it, and it's not even finished yet. So that's going to take a while. Sorry, my mind, my train of thought just derailed. Sam Trek, don't you know? Doesn't seem to be anybody here today. Oh well. Sorry. What I tried to do also with Enhanced Humans is show 2 sides of the issue. There's Carly, who all Enhanced Humans want their people to be free. They want to stop being created in government-controlled creches, and half of them sold essentially into slavery. Carly and a majority of Enhanced Humans want to do it the peaceful, legal way, working through government channels and just proving to the rest of the world that they have nothing to fear from Enhanced Humans. There's people like Bartok, who are criminals, rogues as they're referred to. Some are just criminals like Bartok. Some are some lead terrorist cells, and that's something that, for example, comes up later on in Stranger. So I wanted to show the two sides and how they butt heads with each other, if you will, and that will be addressed through the next two stories concerning Carly, the two sequels to this. And like I said, any story that has an enhanced human in it, there is some dealings with some addressing of the issue of bigotry and discrimination. I try not to be in your face about it, but sometimes you have to be. So, there's only one more published book after this one, Brianna and the Three, and I'll be talking about that in 2 weeks. I am in the process now of editing two other completed stories, Upon a Far Distant Shore, which is set in present day, and Raven, which is set actually 2 years after On a Cold Wind and concerns Division 2 of EarthGov Security. In fact, let me since I brought up Division 2, let me just mention that real quick. In 2189, late 22nd century, EarthGov Security is divided into 5 divisions. There's Division 1, which is kind of like the Secret Service. It's there to protect the EarthGov President and Senate and visiting dignitaries. Division 2 is mandated with protecting the home system, Earth, all the planets in the solar system, extending out into the out to the Kuiper Belt. Division 3 is covert operations. They're covert, but you might hear about them after they're finished. Division 4 is so secret, nobody knows about them. They are so clandestine, even when they go to interact with other divisions, there's a very good chance that the name they give you is not their real name. And then there's Division 5, which handles everything outside of the home system. I created it that way just to separate it out a little bit, although looking ahead into the future, by the time the late 26th century rolls around, the time of Lynn Sillow and Vincent de Berg from The Fault Lies Not, EarthGov Security has consolidated into one large unit. Also, I want to just mention real quick the government as it's set up there. I know there are many people out there who fear the concept of one world government. Ooh. Eventually, we're going to have some kind of one central governing body, because one of these days we're going to contact them. Either they're going to find us or we're going to find them. I don't know if they're going to be little grays, tall reptilians, whatever. But we are going to make contact with other intelligent life forms. And do you really think that they're going to want to negotiate contracts with 192 separate nations? I don't think so. So, EarthGov Security is there to maintain any colonies that Earth establishes through their Division of Colonial Affairs, and my mind went blank again. I'm sorry. And there's also a EarthGov Senate. And then they also control essentially Starfleet, and EarthGov Security is a division of them. EarthGov Security Division 2, they take the place of, for example, here in the U.S., they take the place of the FBI, CIA, NSA, and all that, although they say they're not spying on regular citizens, but they probably are. Local, as we know them today, nations do still exist. There is still a United States. I haven't decided if they've made Puerto Rico the 51st state yet, but there is still a United States. There is still the 50, at least the 50 states as we know them today. And they can call, there is your local police, state police, but they can also call on EarthGov security if you get to something like kidnapping, and particularly of an important citizen. EarthGov security is stepping in. I just wanted to address that because I realized I hadn't talked about my governmental setup. Excuse me. And that all comes out because that also plays a part in Carly's future. So, that is On a Cold Wind. I'd have to say, right now, of the 7 books, it is probably my favorite. Brianna and the Three is a close second, but On a Cold Wind is my favorite. So, if anybody is checking this out later on, thank you. It will be available on YouTube, and the book On a Cold Wind, like all the others, is available through Smashwords, um, Lulu, Nook for strictly ebooks, Amazon, Amazon for the Kindle through both for both ebook and print on demand, and Create Space for print on demand books. Um, Looking ahead a little bit after Brianna and the Three, um, I'd like to continue doing these because I find it a bit almost cathartic because it helps me clear my head. So after Brianna and the Three, I'll probably start talking about um, why I write, how I write, why I write what I do, why I create the characters that I do, how I go about creating those characters. So, uh, the book, like all the others, available through the website. Word Boy's Words address is wordboy1.wixsite.com /wordboys words, and I'll remember to put that address in the comments below. I'll also have it on the YouTube page. And hold on a second, I don't remember that address. Just to the ebook is $4.99 and $6.99 for the paperback. And give me just 1 second. I'll get the address for my YouTube channel. All the other videos are there as well. So if you want to check out the ones I did for the previous 5 books, they're there also. If you just look me up, Michael Dunn, you'll find all the other videos. Well, that's it. That's it for now. Thank you. Thank you, and have a great day.